Hey guys, welcome back. Reese Ben here at Pursuing Nightly Arts. And today in the video we're going to be discussing a little bit of a preliminary review of a sword. We took a little break for the holidays and stuff, of course, and we came back with some new toys. So this is a sword that's recently came to the market. And it is a Purple Heart harness fecting sword, a version 2. So what's nice is that over the years, I like to think with our channel, people paid more attention to the harness fecting community. So in the past, over the years, we've tried a number of swords. Ones from like fetters for bow fecting, tournament swords. We've done a couple of reviews on some swords that were meant for stage combat or reenactment that turned out to be really useful because they're stiff for performing harness fecting techniques, but never the swords that we've worked with before were never really specific for studying our side of the art until we've come across this one recently. So
yeah, initially in the community, we started with very flexible swords, partially because that's what was available, and also because the thought of safety when thrusting at each other, that a sword that flexed would be safer because it gives and doesn't inadvertently enter the body of your opponent that you're not actually trying to kill. But as we found as time's gone on, that our equipment, as it gets better and people are wearing more appropriate stuff that more closely matches historical gear, that's less and less of an issue. The other thing that we're looking at is a lot of the techniques that we do per the fight manuals based off of the historic weapons that they used. Some of the techniques don't work quite well when the sword flexes. We've got some footage of some examples of that. We're doing this without armor because it's very cold out here. But the newest advancements that we're looking for is we're looking for a sword that is very stiff, that has an adequately length the hilt furniture, somewhat to match the swords that are in gladiatoria for our uses. For other people, they may wish for a different length pommel or what have you, but for us this works out very well. Many of the techniques that require with hooking with a pommel, you have to have enough pommel to hook with, and some of the shortcomings of the swords we found that are stiff enough, the pommels are too short, or the hilts rather. So the this new sword, doing a preliminary look at the features and functions, gives us a good idea of how it's going to perform. Once we get a little more time to get into harness, we'll actually get some full-on use out of it.
yeah, but so far, we have some footage here of us messing around with certain techniques and out of armor and stuff. And so far, we find a lot of really good advantages. It's actually a very well thought out, designed weapon. So, starting from the bottom here, pommel. Pommel's peened. It's a machined type pommel, but it's round. Didn't initially care for that at first, but then playing with it, it's actually quite nice because other styles of pommels that have points on them and stuff, they tend to bite into armor, scratch up your stuff, and then when performing certain hooks and pulls and stuff within like the arm and hooking knees and stuff, it doesn't quite bite into you as much. So it gives them some freedom to not quite just dig into your arm or elbow or whatever. Then downward, they got a wire wrapping, which is really handy. Over the years, we've had like leather, covering on our hilts and stuff, our handles, and then doing harness fecting, especially with gauntlets, and then hooking and pulling within armor, just chews up
gauntlets.
Just chews up your leather and stuff. So I want to say that this was a historical method. I want to say that like start quarter or later 15th century. They started doing that, and I'd speculate this because of harness. Moving down, got leather wrapping here, but then there's a little metal ring. I didn't care for that initially when I first saw it, but then we just noticed today that when using gauntlets and stuff, that is the exact position where the gauntlet rests on, so it won't chew up the leather bit there. So make it last a little bit longer.
Yeah, right where the metal ring is, my gauntlet hits that metal ring, and the palm part of the gauntlet, where the metal actually would touch the hilt of the sword, is on the wire wrap. So the leather in the middle is actually only touched by the leather of my glove, I even have a hard time getting the metal of my gauntlet on there unless I choke back on the sword, which is done. But the standard grip would be, more towards the hilt, and it actually saves this leather, which will ultimately save you from rehilting as often, given that these are designed to be a tool that you use to practice some martial art. You're going to be using them on a regular basis, rubbing them together, beating on them. They're going to get nicked and burred and chipped and damaged, and that's self-evident in many swords we've used over the years that the hilts are completely destroyed on them, been rehilted and completely destroyed again, rehilted. So that'll reduce the amount of rehilting time that you have involved in rehilting one of these. It should last longer.
Yeah. So then, of course, the crossguard, super stiff. I mean, the sword is built like a tank so far, but this thing is so super stiff. We've had previous swords in the past that, the blades might be stiff, but then the crossguard is like of a softer metal, and it just get chewed up, dinged up, bent. Bent is a really big one, with hooking and pulling. So far, just from the short testing we've done with it, I've hooked his neck, pulled his knee, inside the arm, elsewhere, and this thing hasn't budged. So then if you look on the close-up here, on the sides, they've got little balls that are pinned over on the ends of the crossguard there. That's a nice safety feature because we've had in the past where the crossguard can go into like ocular slits, hit the throat, that sort of thing. So having those around it there is definitely a plus. And then probably the most important thing we look for in a blade is just how stiff it is. So in the past, you guys will see some footage here. We've had some really kind of flexible type of swords. Once we said in the past because of safety's sake, but something to perform the techniques accurately and efficiently as possible, it's best for harness effecting. It's best to have a really stiff blade, and these are very, very stiff. So we spent some time earlier to play around some techniques, and we found it's very responsive with a lot of techniques.
Yeah, your Fulin is much higher. You can actually feel what's going on, what your opponent's doing in the bind. So when you meet swords, you can actually get a feel for how much pressure they're giving, whether you'll be able to beat them or whether you'll want to move away to yield to their pressure as they go. Also, we found that when you get into a couched position, into a target, say armpit, inside of the arm, there's many times with the lighter bladed flexible swords that you can actually twist and cause the sword to flex and pop out, and you can escape from getting a point couched in. And this particular deal so far, once you get a point stuck into you, it's stiff enough, it doesn't let you slip out. You're stuck to it, and as long as they put it into structure and keep pushing, you're stuck on the end of the sword. There's nothing you can do. Other than the obvious retreat and do other things, but if they get a point set, fairly, you're not going to cheat your way out of it.
Yeah.
That's
so
the gist of it.
From just the small amount of time we've spent with it so far, it's very responsive, and you could totally tell when someone is in proper structure with this stiff of a blade, which is really nice. So then finally, just towards the end, they've got kind of a I suppose recessed spatulated tip, whatever.
It goes out around and dips in. So we can throw some stock footage up.
Yeah, we'll show some. But we put some Kydex tips on there and then tape, and that's mostly just to prevent the armor from getting scratched up.
Yeah.
So we like to make our stuff look nice. But this is not a full-on review. We will be doing that at a later time.
We've had more time to actually wrench and pull an armor and give them the full pace and see what they handle.
So just wanted to make a quick video and show you guys what we're working on in the future. We're going to put these to the test. We got some more techniques we're doing with Gladiatory Effect Book that we're going to be hooking and pulling a lot with these, some more ringing sort of techniques. So which should be good. Should put these swords to their pace. So but yeah, so expect a full review here before long, and some more techniques of Gladiatoria, and others like Lugula Ash and stuff we're still working through.
Yep.
So stay tuned, guys. More to come, and appreciate you watching as always. Thanks again to our Patreon supporters for supporting the channel. Your funds help us to improve the channel and then getting certain things like this for review.
Yep.
So that way we can give you guys an unbiased view on some of these simulators. So that's it. So thanks again for watching, and look forward to see you guys in the next video. Take care.